Welcome to Phoenix Rise Connect, where businesses, creators, and powerful ideas come together.
We provide businesses with a platform to share their story, demonstrate their products, and connect with new audiences around the world. Through professional live interviews, engaging podcasts, and authentic conversations, we help brands build visibility, credibility, and trust.
Hey everybody, how are we? It is Tuesday the 25th of August. Where is this year going? It seems to be absolutely crazy. We are live to you today from Facebook, YouTube, and our friendly Twitch, and also LinkedIn. I am here today with a friend of mine called Ritty Quin. How are you, mister?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm good today here in the UK. We're a bit disappointed because I'm looking out to the sea today and the sunshine and the summer seems to have finally disappeared. How is it for you over there? Have you still got lovely bright sunshine?
Yeah, still got some sun over here, but it's unfortunate. Summer doesn't last very long in the UK, does it? But hey ho.
Well, it's the longest it's ever lasted. It seems to have lasted a long time for us this year, and we've been as hot as we've ever been since 1976. So, I think we're quite glad now that actually it's got a bit cooler. So, everybody, on Phoenix Connect today, we are bringing Ritty Quin, who is going to be showing us an amazing software program, which is going to save you time, going to save you money, and also save you energy. And for all those music artists out there, it's a pain, I know, to having to do your own admin and your own business, but it's part of the daily job as a musician. But Ritty is here in his company, Code Protocol, to give you some tools to help that journey a bit easier so you can spend more time in the studio and more time doing the things that you love, okay? Taking away that admin away from you, making it easy, and also making it in a way that's enjoyable and enables you to connect to others, okay? So we are going to literally do what we do the best, is we're going to dive into our presenters' past and find out how they got to the journey of coming into software development, because most of them come from the backgrounds that you do. And I know that Ritty himself was a DJ and a producer. So before you started developing this software, you were having quite some really good outputs in terms of BBC Radio 1 dance. And tell us a bit about yourself, Ritty. Where did you come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So my musical background spans, more than 20 years. I actually started out as a classically trained pianist. I then studied music at university at King's College London. And that was when I discovered electronic music and really took DJing and music production a lot more seriously. So that's kind of when I began my pivot. And then from there, I began DJing at local clubs, university residencies. And then fast forward to when I started my PhD, I decided to look into actually signing my music to record labels. And so during this time, I've seen some fairly decent success in terms of, getting my music supported by some pretty big artists within electronic music. I also signed with one of Live Nation Asia's electronic imprints called Fabled Records. And from there, I was able to receive a lot of support and opportunities to perform, at festivals, at nightclubs. And during this time, I personally had to, undertake and experience the trials and tribulations of what it takes to make it as an artist, especially in this modern era where tools are becoming more accessible, which is a great thing, right? Now, more and more people have access to produce music, right? If they want to be an artist. But now that's kind of raised the stakes and also the competition, right? So being an artist has never been more competitive than it is now, especially with the advent and popularity of social media. And so it's becoming more and more difficult for artists, especially small artists and independent artists, to not only build their career, build their name, but also it's becoming costly as well. Like when you think about what it takes to get your music out there, right? Gain exposure. It's, that requires a lot of resources, a lot of time. So being a musician nowadays is almost a luxury, because it's not as affordable as it was once before. And so that led me to work on Core, which is essentially an infrastructure and a protocol that bridges supply and demand of talent. So what we're doing is essentially helping artists, right, get discovered by the right brands, the right labels, through our suite of products that we've launched and are already live for you to take a look and test out.
Okay.
And go through some of these products later, but yeah, feel free to jump in.
There's, we've had quite a few of these, and more of these products keep coming along. The more the AI has got involved in terms of the actual technology itself, and people are very sort of leaning towards sort of being concerned about AI, being concerned about the amount of programs that are coming out since AI come about. And, I think one of the biggest things that I've seen in the music industry myself, being part of the music industry, for 30 years that I've been a singer-songwriter, being an artist manager, I listen to all these comments, I read these comments all week, about the concerns about jumping into business and then into programs that, are the unknown. You were saying yourself, there's loads of apps out there, that people are having to delve into and learn something new, But I think one of the things that reassures people is the fact that this isn't being developed by another software company. This is being developed by someone, who has been a musician, has trained as a musician. You also appeared in BBC Radio 1 Dance. You've been through that journey as an artist. You haven't just come up with something and thought, do you know what, I'm going to bring another software program where people are going to have to sign up to another, products. You're doing it from an artist point of view. And, I think that's a real difference. And I think when people are looking at your product, if they can keep that in mind, it's not just another piece of software which has been built. This has been built by an artist who has been where you've been. They've built it for that sake. Ritty, I gather, do you still go out? Do you still perform at all? Do you do any music at all still?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my biggest passion, right? So of course, whilst building these products, I'm also very much still performing, even creating content as well, building my brand, using these products to help me, optimize my workflows.
Fantastic. So, you having that journey through, updating as well, I gather, do you talk to musicians? Do they tell you, look, do you know what, actually, Ritty, we love your program, but is there any chance you can add something different that we can actually make it easier, or, give us additional functions and things like that? Is there a community behind this program as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, one of our products, which is called Pacer, it's an AI operating system for artists. We already have a social media for that, across Instagram, TikTok, and we've actually, our account has already, received a lot of support and is being followed by some of the biggest artists in electronic music, like, for example, MK. Received some support from, Vintage Culture, who's seen our content, Marlon Hofstadt. So a lot of very popular electronic artists have supported us and followed our content. And we also have reached out and have received a lot of messages from a lot of smaller upcoming artists, right, who have taken an interest and curiosity in what we're building. They've also given us some great feedback as well on what things they'd like to see moving forward within our platform. And this is something that we're still developing. We still have these relationships with these artists, and we want to make sure that we're really helping them in a significant way.
Fantastic. That's really lovely to hear. And to reassure people, we're not talking small numbers. You were talking about people who have really got behind this product, and some really big name artists, but also in terms of your numbers, in terms of sign up. I think when people are looking at these products, it's like any app or any software program, it's being trustful of the product that you're going to use. And, the numbers are big. For your sign-ups, we're not just talking a few hundred, we're talking into the millions where people have been signing into this, have been part of this journey. How long's this actual journey? When did you first start it?
Yeah, so started late last year, and we've been, me and the team, we've been very locked in terms of building these products, refining them, and we're extremely happy to see them live. We launched several of these applications within the past 2 weeks, and we've received a lot of positive reception as well and great feedback. I genuinely believe that these applications, will help a lot of musicians, no matter which genre or niche you're in, and not only musicians, but creators in general who are looking to optimize their workflows, who are maybe not, trying to still figure out what they can do to reach that next level, right, and get noticed by the brands and labels that they want to work with.
Fantastic. We've got a few sends of love and some likes and things like that. Jay and Robin, thank you very much for joining the program, and also listening to what we've got to say. Two artists who are massive artists out there in the independent industry. Jay Luke has just come back from the ISSA and has won some medals over there in Atlanta. Congratulations, young man. Robin is a future singer for the future. When you hear this woman's voice, you are going to be blown away. And she is one who knows many people in Nashville. And this is what this Phoenix Connect is all about. It's word of mouth. We're bringing you these products, and we're basically showing you what the future is out there to make your lives easier. So we are at Phoenix Connect, bringing your products to you, the listeners, but also to you as artists to make your life easier. So everybody, it's demonstration time. I am going to get Ritty to put these products onto show for us so we can go through what these do and what the functions are. Okay, so he's going to share his screen with us, everybody. Please take a listen, grab your popcorn, because we're going to go through the product review now. Let's go for it.
Great. So firstly, I will show you our first product, which is called Pacer. So you can actually access this if you're curious. So you can go to pacermusic.co and sign up, create your account, and try it out for free. So essentially what you can see here is the dashboard. And so upon registering an account, you can create your artist profile, right? So you can choose what type of artist you are, whether you're, a producer, an indie artist, right? You can choose your genre, you can choose your goals as well, whether you're a beginner, you have a decent following, and also your objectives in terms of, what metrics would you like to reach, what type of things that are a priority to you, whether it's release strategy, right? Content strategies, distribution. And so as you can see here on this dashboard, Pacer gives you an audit, right? Which essentially analyzes your social media accounts, which you can connect to, right? Your Vibrate, which you can connect to, your Spotify, which you can connect to. And it gives you an analysis of, your current career so far, what things are doing well, right? As you can see here, you can see some of my metrics in terms of my TikTok impressions, my Spotify playlist reaches, my monthly listeners. And then from there, you can see on the left-hand side, right, we have several different workspaces for you to optimize your workflows. The reason why we built Pacer in the first place is that if you're an independent artist, you will understand how much work is required when it comes to handling your own social media, when it comes to ideating on things to post, right? When it comes to publishing your own music, right? When it comes to trying to promote your music, contacting playlists, reaching out to different, artists on social media. All of this requires a team. The biggest artists in the world, they have that team, right? They have that budget. Whereas for people like us, we don't have that. And so this is why we built Pacer, is for artists to essentially have their own marketing team within one app.
Okay.
So you can see here, this is where you can connect your channels. And from there, it will pull data, engagement, and context as well to give you a deep and thorough analysis. And in here, you can see the context base where you can upload files, right? And it'll give you a full analysis and suggestions.
What type of files?
And then your goals as well. So, yeah.
So you're saying about uploading files,
for example,
what
in this context, you can upload analytics, right? Or
right, okay.
Yeah, so for example, you can upload, like, if you're downloading analytics separately, or you can upload, for example, some draft captions, right? Let's say you have an idea, that you have a rough idea, but you want Pacer to expand on that and really consolidate on that idea, then Pacer will do that for you. And as you can see here with your goals, so you can set goals, whether it's 30, 60, or 90 days, and your goals can vary. It can be, planning your next release, right? Launching a pre-save campaign for your next single. You can customize and create your own goals. And from there, Pacer will give you a complete plan and checklist and a range of tasks for you to complete, because, you, as an artist, it's a lot to think about, right? There's a lot to handle when it comes to a release strategy, a campaign. And so
can I just pick your mind about this? Because we have a lot of artists releasing singles so quickly now because there's the ability to do so. At the end of the day, I don't think I've seen distribution companies release so quickly now because they're releasing so many songs. And at the end of the day, a big flaw by an artist is not having a good campaign before a song is released. They drop it, as though it's just a penny on the floor. And I think, your program seems to give that guidance about how you should release. We have an academy of, where we teach this day in, day out about how you release your songs. So this, to me, would actually give you a reminder of basically, do it in dribs and drabs. Your numbers are pretty impressive, Ritty, in terms of your listeners and things like that. But I gather you didn't, just drop it on the day and didn't have a release plan. I gather you had quite a significant release plan before you was dropping your singles in to the market for people to hear.
Exactly. And this all comes from experience, right? Working with different record labels who guide you and teach you what is typically required for a successful campaign. If you're a beginner, right, you're not going to have this experience or understanding of what a successful campaign requires. And so that's why with Pacer, we provide you with a full release plan. When you want to create your release, right, you can give it information about whether you're releasing a single or an EP, the dates for your release. And then from there, Pacer will provide you with a full strategy, right? And tasks for you to complete in order to make sure that release goes to plan.
And follow this. I think this is really important for all of you releasing music out there. This is building you a release plan. And you've got so many social media outputs to be able to release to, the likes of TikTok. I don't know if you've done any work with TikTok since you've been doing, this program itself. But it's become, I would say, one of the leading platforms for musicians in relation to people providing, an opportunity to showcase their vocals, but also to release their music and almost, because releasing a music single should almost be like a story. You starting at the beginning where you're writing the track, you're very passionate about the track, you're telling people about the track is coming, and please use these programs in a way where actually, if it says it takes 6 weeks to release and here's the steps, do so, follow, and you have a successful release. Because if you don't, it gets to the point where it fails. And I think, having this system, it looks really, really good. And have people seen this from other platforms? Have you been to other platforms? Have they seen what you're doing?
Yeah, we're working with, several large management companies, publishing companies, some of the largest artists, right, within electronic music, who have really been impressed by what we've built in such a short period of time. And you're going to see a lot more, updates to Paysa and all of our applications as well. And speaking of TikTok, it's actually a great segue to one of our other applications, which I'd like to share with the audience, which is called Streamline, because I believe TikTok is arguably, one of or the most important social media platforms that artists need to leverage in order for them to be noticed and get seen. The biggest artists in the world, they even use TikTok, right? Some of their campaigns and music have really gone viral through TikTok. And interestingly, when it comes to marketing, right, and building a brand, a lot of the times you'll hear this conjecture about how marketing is luck-based, right? You never know which video will go viral, right? You gotta, it's really based on, posting lots of videos, right? And hopefully one of them will stick and go viral. But actually, when you think about other areas of, professions, most professions are driven by data, by intelligence, right? Whereas marketing typically isn't. And so what we created with Streamline is essentially an intelligence layer, which analyzes your account, analyzes what is trending currently on TikTok, right? Analyzes which niches are going to become popular ahead of time. And from there, it gives you a formula for you to create your next viral video. And so as you can see here on this dashboard, right, when you create an account on Streamline, it will analyze your account completely, or analyze all of your videos. And from there, you can see your metrics, right, your followers, your save rate, your engagement rate. And then underneath, it will suggest to you a list of videos that are trending in your niche. So similar to Paysa, when you create an account, you can customize your profile. And from there, Streamline will give you suggestions on what kind of content you should create, right? What's trending in your niche. As you can see here, here's some content ideations that Streamline has produced for me. And this is updated every 24 hours. So you're always receiving fresh new ideas from Streamline. So as you can see with my account, right, because my account, I create a lot of content targeted towards DJs and music producers. And so what Streamline has done is analyze my content, seen which videos have done well in particular, and from there actually figure out what made those videos successful, right? Was it the hook? Was it the idea? Was it the type of production and different shots within the video? So this is a very comprehensive tool that musicians can use, but also content creators in general, right? You don't have to be an artist to use Streamline.
Marketing is a huge, I hate to say it to any of you artists out here, marketing is a huge part of being a successful artist now. You are in a day and age where you are in competition, not just with humans, you're also in competition with AI, and marketing, especially, the fact that we've brought AI into marketing, things are going out faster, the traffic's increasing, and you've got to be, for you to be seen, it's so much harder. But actually, for me, it looks one of those programs that I had an artist come to me who I managed this week, turn around and say, I need to get my numbers up. And I said, well, the only way we're going to get your numbers up is by you creating more content. You know, I can't just magically get your numbers out of nowhere. Yes, I can buy, like you can buy, a bot to increase your numbers, but that's going to not have any connection between you and your fans, your family, your engagement, and probably end up getting you banned from social media. You know, so it is about content. It is about what you create. So if this gives you an idea and a list of things to create next, it's up to you as the artist to then go and do it. You know, it's this program isn't just going to give you the ability to say, right, okay, this is what I suggest, and then you leave it and think, well, it's going to do it for me. There are programs out there will do it for you, but it really gives you, by the looks of it, a program where actually these are the ideas and this is what you do next, but you physically as an artist have to go and do it.
Exactly. You made a great point. You know, you're not only just competing with other humans, but you're now competing with AI, right? Now there's an influx of content, both human generated and AI generated, that's flooded the market. And so unfortunately, if you're an artist who's maybe a bit introverted or not too keen on creating social media, unfortunately, you really do have to build a brand online if you want your music to be heard. And so that's why we wanted to create a tool which gives artists, right, a fully comprehensive strategy and breakdown of what they should be posting in order to see success in the quickest amount of time, right? What Streamline does is compress hours and hours of research into minutes, right? Instead of swiping on your phone to see what's trending or reading constant newsletters, right? You can just use Streamline and it will give you a full report every day on what you should be posting and what's trending in your niche. So, as you can see here, I have a list of my recently uploaded videos. And if I click on any of them, it will give me a review on why the video did well and suggestions on how I can use this hook for a different video.
And like while it's doing that, when we're saying about hooks and suggestions and things like that, it's about niches and it is about the way things are put across. It works on keywords and things like that. This is what I've learned, about this market. That it's giving you certain things to say and certain things to do, but that's because that's what's trending at the time. TikTok seems to be trending something different every single day. How does it keep up with that? The fact that TikTok is basically changing what they're going to do the next day.
Exactly. The algorithms are constantly changing, and as a content creator and as an artist, you have to constantly adapt and be aware of the current trends, what you should be posting. And so as you can see here, for example, right, you can take a look at, this is one of my recent videos which saw some decent success, and Streamline, it gives you feedback on why the video did well, right? So as you can see, the script timeline, right, the hook, which is very essential when it comes to creating viral content. You need to have a strong hook at the beginning, and then from there, make sure that you have as much retention as possible from the viewer. And so, as you can see, Streamline gives you several points of feedback on what made this video in particular do well. And you can do this not only for your own videos, but you can also research your competitors, right? For example, you can, as an artist, I typically look for other artists who I think I resemble or I gravitate towards, right? Maybe their style is kind of similar to my style, and Streamline enables you to do the same thing, which fantastic. I would recommend for all beginner creators, right? If you are just starting out with content creation, my recommendations would be, take a look at some of the creators and artists that you follow, right? Maybe they're creating content that you see yourself making. And so that's something that you can do within Streamline.
And I think the words that you're using at the moment is very important for all artists to hear at the moment. You are an artist. but you're also a business owner, but now you are a content creator, whether you like it or not. I think that's become part of the modern world of music, is that if you don't like TikTok, or if you don't like YouTube, or if you don't like the other sort of apps that are out there to be a content creator, your support and survival in the music industry is going to be very limited, and not to the point that you're not going to be seen, but it's going to be a lot harder to be seen. Those ones are going to reach to the very top. You take big shows like Britain's Got Talent. You know, Simon Cowell, when he was doing Britain's Got Talent, how many content creators were on that show where Simon had obviously seen them on those shows and brought them to Britain's Got Talent? You know, he didn't need to go and search. He didn't need to go and leave his sitting room. You know, he was finding them on YouTube, finding them on TikTok. And, you know, those people who originally would have searched in local bars, clubs, festivals and things like that now have got the ability to do that. So content creator has become part of your label now as a modern day, you know, artist.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter, you know, which stage you are at. You know, some of the biggest founders, right, and business owners, they are also making content because we live in an attention economy. And if you want, you know, people to notice you, then you're going to have to really build a presence online.
And that's from everybody, from president as well. Yeah. You know, President of the United States literally has his own, you know, content channel, and he's actually putting out on social media as well, whether he's doing it himself or he's getting other people to do it. But the fact that his name's bang on the top, as Zach is saying with Elon Musk, you know, everybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a musician, this day and age has to have a social media channel and live like being a content creator, which is why I done the same with Phoenix 6 years ago. You know, you have to sign with the times.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone has to adapt, right? Because if you don't, then unfortunately, there are going to be thousands of other artists who have the same aspirations and goals as you, but are going to reach that goal, you know, earlier.
Definitely. Any more on this program, which is going to give us any tips, what like going through? It looks an absolutely fantastic program. It really does.
Yeah,
it's really helpful.
If you got, I highly recommend you guys check this this application out. It's streamline-intelligence.ai. So if you want to audit your social media accounts, your TikTok account, then you can do that on Streamline. I also have another application that I'd like to show you guys, which is actually one of my favorites.
Core Protocol are bringing us everything today. You know, it's not just one app. We wanted to make sure.
You know, I wanted to make sure that we built an entire ecosystem and suite of products that were all connected and, you know, provide artists with a full service where you don't need to look for other applications, right, in order to fulfill your needs. You know, just speaking from personal experience, as an artist who was building my brand online, right, I've tried different applications, right, to help me, and I always found some issues with a lot of them, or they didn't really help me reach my goals in a fast and significant way. But also as well, a lot of these applications are costly, and as you know, as an artist, you're always trying to minimize your costs, right? And speaking of that, one of the reasons we built Chorus, which is an ethical music remixing application, is that we wanted to provide artists with an additional revenue stream. Because when you look at the landscape today, majority of artists, they don't have a lot of opportunities to earn revenue, right? If you're not performing, if you're not getting played on the radio, then you're not really getting a lot of revenue, especially from streams, right? Streaming, you know, contrary to maybe popular belief,
0.0.0.5.
Exactly.
You know, if
you're getting
lucky as an artist like myself.
Yeah, I'm speaking about myself as well. You're getting pennies, right? And not only that, but you won't even receive that royalty check until you've reached like a threshold, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
when I think about some of the music I released, you know, I only see some like notifications from the labels like every quarter if I'm lucky, right? So relying on streaming is just unfortunately not very wise if you think that's your way to you're going to be earning revenue as an artist. And so with Chorus, what Chorus does is enable artists to license their music for other people to legally remix, and you will get paid every time someone uses your licensed stems, or whatever part of your project that you have allowed to be used.
So does the original song, because I'm going to get asked this so many times, does the original song stay yours and copyrighted to you? They cannot take any legal responsibility for your track once they download it.
Yeah, so when you think about like especially music producers, we produce a lot of projects, and once you finish a track, that project just stays idle, right?
Yeah.
And so what if you actually enabled your fans, right, your community, to remix your track, right? Because a lot of people, they will just remix your track by ripping your track from YouTube and then creating a bootleg remix. But instead of that, you could just essentially license your music, right? Get paid every time someone purchases that license to remix your track, right? Or to use a specific melody or a specific stem, right, within that track. And then they can create their own remix. So, as you can see here, if I wanted to take a look at some of the licenses that have been uploaded already, right? If I wanted to, if there was a particular synth pattern, right, or a bass pattern that I wanted to use, I could pay for it through the marketplace. And then if I wanted to actually upload my own stems, right, or my own projects on Chorus, I can do that as well by just going on new project. And then from there, I can either create my own stem within our sequencer, or I could upload my tracks instead.
Okay, and then that would split it into stems?
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the choice of either splitting it into separate stems, or keeping it as one pattern. And then from there, you can customize how much the license would cost, right? How many days you'd want the license to be on the marketplace. And all the royalties that you receive every time someone purchases that license is instant, and you'll receive it within your account. So the difference with Chorus as well is, compared to other applications, for example, like Suno, is that this is ethical in the sense that all the stems, right, all the music that you're remixing on Chorus has been licensed by an artist. The problem with applications like Suno is that when you're using Suno to create a track, you're creating a track on essentially unlicensed music, right? Because they have been training on hundreds of thousands of millions of music, right, without consent.
Right. Okay. So for me, obviously, I'm not a producer. I'm a singer-songwriter. But if I wanted people to, I've got several tracks which were released, and I'm just starting to get into sync licensing now. And there's several aspects of my songs I think actually that would really be good as a riff to part of a film or something like that. And if I wasn't technically minded, or I wasn't working with a producer at the moment, would I feel confident to be able just to upload my track and that still hit somebody to go, actually, I want that part of that track? You're talking about, putting it on there for financial gain and financial reasons, and sort of, me putting a number to that. I wouldn't know where to start. Does it give you a sort of, an idea when you first upload in terms of this is worth this amount of money?
Yeah, that's actually it's a good suggestion. Maybe we could add that in our next update. But I think ultimately you're going to see whether your music that you release in the marketplace has that demand, right? So to give you an example, we've worked with several large artists who have licensed their music on Chorus. So this includes artists from the Mousetrap record label, which is a record label from deadmau5. He's one of the biggest electronic music artists in the world. Or we've also worked with Imogen Heap as well, Ritty Quin, who is a very successful techno pioneer, and many other artists as well. And they have essentially, what they've done is, release their music on Chorus through remix packs, and they've sold out within days. And they've seen, revenue that you'd not be able to attain from, years and years and years of, and millions of streams, right? And so
it fills me with confidence. Really, it does fill me with confidence because I'm a lot older than you, and unfortunately, when I first started selling my music, it was on tape and CD, and I was on stage, and I could come away with my wages, but also money for my merchandise, money for my CDs, and things like that. And at least some money was made. This day and age of streaming, it's almost as though it's a wasteless market. You spend hours in the studio, and you get a distribution company that you still end up having to spend money for. And they put your music out, and then you see, and you're disappointed. You see your numbers, and you think, "Wow, do you know what? I can't believe that I'm being streamed in Germany and Russia and China and things like that. People are listening to my music." But then when you actually see the funding part of it, it disappoints you because you've got to bring it out of your own pocket and you've got to produce it again and again, and it does put you off. And I just think with Chorus given the ability, it might answer some of your questions out there about where is the money in the music industry at the moment? Where can I get a finance stream to be able to produce my next album or my next single? Because whether we like it or not, things are getting more expensive. Even radio play at the moment, it's getting more expensive, and you need an income stream coming in. So I think Chorus looks as though it's going to give us an answer to actually finding another revenue of money that we may be able to be putting back into our music industry in terms of production and doing the things that we love.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it's actually, for the majority of artists, every release, actually, you end up losing a lot of money, right? Because you're paying for, the distributor, you're paying for example, playlist pitches. You're paying an agency to help you, pitch your track to other artists, right, for them to play on their radio shows. So it ends up, mounting up. And so, that's why Chorus means a lot to me, because we're providing people with an alternative revenue stream where they can actually monetize from their music, rather than just leaving it idle.
I like your passion, really, as well. I can hear it coming through in terms of being an artist as well. This isn't just a software program to you. This is you also helping your ecosystem of artists, giving back something to those artists because you've been there yourself, and it's coming through a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. This all comes from, experience, having gone through this myself as an independent artist, and understanding the needs that all independent artists require. And so, I'm really happy to see the positive reception towards all of the products, and we're going to continue iterating on these and making sure that we really create an entire suite of products that any type of artist can just jump in and use straight away.
Fantastic. So that's Chorus. Is this the last of the apps, or are we continuing? Is there more apps to going?
Yeah, we do have more, but I would say these would be
these are the
go-to three. Yeah, exactly. My go-to 3 apps that I think the audience would very much see a lot of immediate benefit in trying out.
Fantastic. And do you know what? This question's going to come, and it's being questioned in my ear already. how much is going to cost our pockets? I think that's the first question anyone asks when anyone brings us a new product. And it was flashing up on the screen there, $14.99, $14.99. I apologize, I'm in the UK. It was flashing up $14.99. You know, so I gather there's a sort of free time to have a look around the program first, and then give us a little bit about the price structure.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have for Pacer, for example, we have a subscription model. So you can try out Pacer for free right now. You can sign up for an account, take a look at some of the features and workspaces within Pacer. But yeah, if you want to, explore Pacer to its fullest, right? You can upgrade to a pro account which has unlimited tasks, chat assistant as well, and content planners, release management, fan CRM and outreach tools. Then yeah, you can get the pro subscription. We wanted to
come on, give it to us, Ritty. Stop hiding it, Ritty. I'm an artist, for God's sake. I need to know how much is coming out of my pocket. So if I'm going to get a Pacer Pro off you.
Yeah, so as you said with Pacer Pro, it's $14.99 a month.
Oh, that's right. I can afford that.
Yeah, which to be honest, I think when you think about when I think about actually how much I've paid, agencies to help push my music, right? I've paid like at some points upwards to hundreds to even $200 just to one agency to help me with a release, and you don't even know, or they can't even guarantee if the results that they've given you are organic, and you don't actually see the process from A to Z in terms of like the impressions and how they've managed to achieve that result. So I think
these products aren't, and I think this is what's scaring the market out there. They see some products on the market where it's incredibly high cost. It's another cost, and for us artists, there is a lot of cost continuously.
Yeah.
And actually you're keeping it at a level where it's affordable. And when we're looking at $14.99 per month for Pro, you are getting so much, which is going to push you out. And it's not just going to be like stop there. You're developing new ideas. You did it with me. I come up with an idea, and straight away you turn around to me and said, that's something we can think about. You are working with some of the market leaders to try and keep this software up to date. Your figures speak for themselves. The artists speak for themselves who you have mentioned today. Any artists out there at the moment thinking of buying software, this one for me looks a really good, example of what we should be buying rather than what we shouldn't be buying, because, it's reassuring how many people you've been working with, but it's also at a cost and a price where $14.99, everybody, come on, I've done this with you all before. It's not even the price of a McDonald's over in the US. You're literally buying yourself a McDonald's per month to have a large reach out into the industry where actually you could, like Ritty, get to that next level and be seen and actually have tools to help you. It looks really good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. And, the way that I see it is that with Pacer, as I said before, you're getting a full marketing team, right, within one app. So yeah, you're getting an assistant, you're getting a content planner, you're getting, release management, you're getting analytics, you're getting research, all within one application. So once you use Pacer, you can just focus on doing what you love the most, which is actually creating the music, whilst Pacer will handle all of the rest.
Brilliant. Ritty, you have been a tremendous guest on Phoenix Connect, and we're going to bring this to everybody via the Phoenix Connect website, but also Phoenix Rise. We are going to bring it onto that website as well. We are going to provide you with the information from the show today. You can see it if you have missed it. There's been lots of people joining us. Thanks for joining us today. For all those who have listened today, thank you for joining us. We hope that we have brought you a product which is going to help you in the music industry. Ritty, obviously your website is down below. How else can people contact you?
Yeah, so check out our website, coreprotocol.io, where you can see all of the applications that we've built and are live. If you want to sign up for the applications that I've shown you guys today, then yeah, you can go to pacermusic.co, streamline-intelligence.ai/research, and Chorus as well, which is chorusmusic.co. If you want to find me, then yeah, I have social media as well. So I have an Instagram, which is instagram.com/DJ Ritty, which is my artist name. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
And hope to see many of you who are watching this live stream, become users and join our community.
Fantastic. It's been a really good show, everybody. We will be live with you later on in the week to bring even more products from the business world over to you in the music world. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. This is AJ signing off from the UK. Ritty, thanks very much for being such a great guest. Take care, mister.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.